Yes, welcome to our new video, and in this video we are looking at yet another homologous series. It's been a long journey. We've looked at many homologous series, and this time the homologous series we are introducing is called the amines. Amines are compounds that are very important in our daily life. When you look at many chemicals of life, they are actually made of the amino group. So understanding the basic reactions and principles about the amines becomes very important. Amines are compounds that contain what we describe as the amino group. And most of the amines that we look at are the primary amines. However, we shall see that there are quite many other classes of the amines, as we shall see. Now, we are going to write and say that in this introduction, we are saying these are organic compounds. With the amino group as the functional group. Amino group is the NH2 as the functional group. Now, these compounds are broadly divided into two. They are divided into aromatic amines and what we call aliphatic amines. And within each category, we have three classes of amines, i.e., we can have primary aliphatic amines, but it is also possible to have primary aromatic amines. Number two, we have secondary amines. So in this case, we can have secondary aliphatic amines and secondary aromatic amines. And then number three, we have what we call tertiary amines. And these tertiary amines can also be tertiary aliphatic amines or tertiary aromatic amines. So we shall be looking at each of them. Under the primary amines, we are going to say the primary amines, that these are amines in which there are two hydrogen atoms attached to the nitrogen atom. There are two hydrogen atoms attached on the nitrogen atom. Now, in that case, we can give an example. We can say they are represented as RNH2. They are represented by RNH2. So the nitrogen atom has 2 hydrogen atoms. And in that case, they would have the general formula. Therefore, the general formula of the primary amines will be CN H2N plus 1, but then here you have NH2, H2N plus 1, and then NH2. This is general formula because the whole of this is the R. So that's general formula of the primary amines. And then we can look at some examples of what we call the primary amines. This is CH3NH2. This is one example. We can have CH3, CH2, NH2. We could as well have CH3, CH, CH3, and then this is NH2. As long as the nitrogen atom has 2 hydrogen atoms, the position in the carbon chain does not matter. The position in the carbon chain does not matter. What matters is the number of hydrogen atoms on the nitrogen. So all these are examples of primary amines. There are even aromatic primary amines. If you had this, this is an aromatic but primary amine called the phenyl amine. It's the simplest aromatic amine, phenyl amine. Some people will call it aminobenzene. Now, it could as well be a cyclic when it is not aromatic but cyclic. As long as there are 2 hydrogen atoms on the nitrogen atom, then it is a primary amine. So these are what we call primary amines. There are 2 hydrogen atoms on the nitrogen atom. Now, if the number reduces to 1 hydrogen atom, then we shall be talking about a secondary amine. Secondary amines. These have only 1 hydrogen atoms, only 1 hydrogen atom on the nitrogen atom. Only 1 hydrogen atom on the nitrogen atom. And therefore, they are represented as RNH, and another R similar or not similar to the first one is attached. So you would have something like that, or they may be similar and you have that. Or sometimes R, NHR, no problem. This is representation of secondary amines. Example of secondary amines in terms of structure. Examples, you would have CH3N one H and another CH3. This is a secondary amine. If I had CH3, CH2, N, and an H here, but then CH3, this is a secondary amine. I could have it aromatic, but instead of two hydrogen atoms, there is another alkyl group that is secondary amine. It could be cyclic, but instead of two hydrogen atoms, there is another alkyl group, then that one is secondary. It could even be having two aromatic rings. That is still a secondary amine. Lastly, tertiary amines. Tertiary. These have no hydrogen atoms attached on the nitrogen atom. Not there. These ones here have no, meaning they are represented as Rn. Now, instead of H, there are three R's, which could be the same or could be different. If they are the same, then we shall just say R3N. But they can as well be very, very, very different. They are represented as that. Examples. You have CH3. Three of them all bonded to N. That is if the R's are the same. Or they could be different. CH2, N, maybe these ones are the same. Whatever. It could even be that one is a phenyl group and then the others are not. They are alkyl groups and they are all different. These are all amines. These amines. Nomenclature of the amines. How do we name these amines? There are many ways of naming these amines, and we shall go by the simplest way of naming them. Nomenclature of amines. Number one, we shall look at the aliphatic amines. Nomenclature of aliphatic amines. Nomenclature of aliphatic amines. Now, aliphatic amines are named by looking at the alkyl groups attached to the nitrogen atom, and if it is more than one, we simply arrange their names alphabetically, and if it's just one, then we simply write the name of the alkyl group and end with the word amine. That's the simplest way of naming them. So we could say that they are named by writing the name of the alkyl group attached to the nitrogen atom, followed by the word amine. Followed by the word amine. Example, I could have this CH3NH2. The alkyl group attached to the nitrogen is called a methyl. And so the name would be as simple as methyl amine. Methyl amine. If it is longer, then this would be ethyl amine. But it's possible to be a secondary when there are two. You could have CH3, two of them bonded and they are similar. In that case, if they are similar, then we use the prefix di. So this one becomes dimethyl amine. Similarly, if it was tertiary and they are all similar, then we could call this one trimethyl amine. But it is possible for them to be more than one, and they are different. They could be more than one, and all of them are different. So two. What if they are CH3N, but then this one is CH2CH3? In that case, we are going to write the names of the alkyl groups and arrange them alphabetically. And so this one would be the first one, ethyl, and then methyl amine. Ethyl, methyl amine. Then if they are three and two are the same, then one is not the same. What are we going to do? This is methyl, this is ethyl. So alphabetically, ethyl would come first. And so we shall say an ethyl, but dimethyl amine. Ethyl, dimethyl amine. So these are all possibilities in the nomenclature. They are all possibilities in the nomenclature. If the two, CH3, CH2, if these are similar, but then one is not, then we shall have diethyl, methyl amine. So the nomenclature that we are looking at is simply replacing or writing the alkyl groups and end with the word amine. In some cases of the aliphatic amines, we would put the position of the amino group and we name them as amino alkanes if they are considered to be branches. For example, in this case, in this case, we shall consider it as a branch and say it is on the second carbon atom and it's amino. 2 amino, 1, 2, 3, propane. 2 amino, propane. It is possible to also name them like that. In that situation, we cannot create an alkyl group, but instead this appears to be a branch. And so In the next video, we shall be looking at the nomenclature of those that are not purely aliphatic. What if they have some benzene ring somewhere? See you there. Thank you.